Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Simchella and I play Sims, and today we're taking a look at the new world in Horse Ranch and doing a Let's Build. So this is the new world of Chestnut Ridge, and the first neighbourhood here is called Galloping Gulch. Lauded as one of the go-to regions for horse riding, the gulch is chock full of gorgeous trails and stunning outlooks. Explore the gulch's wonders as you honour the noble horses that have passed on at the Sea's Rest, explore the perilous dreaded caverns, or enjoy time under the stars at Saddle Summit campgrounds. And in the middle here seems to be the main town area, and it's called New Appaloosa, which is a homage to The Sims 3. And this historic New Appaloosa serves as a hub for horse riders, ranchers and nectar makers, where they're competing at the Hey Now Equestrian Centre, enjoying a night out at the dance hall, or savouring nectar with good friends. This old watering hole has something for everyone. That sounds so lovely. I cannot wait to explore this new region here. And over down to the right hand side is the third region called Riders Glen. Watched over by the trusty Steed Rock, known as Old Biscuit to the locals, Riders Glen has been home to generations of ranchers and nectar makers. With open space for ranch animals, ideal conditions for nectar making, and kind neighbours to boot, Riders Glen is a welcome community for all walks of life. And Riders Glen is actually where we're going to be doing our ranch build for the Trotters for my Let's Play. It's just this lot here, so without further ado, let's get stuck in. The lot itself has some traits, bracing breezes, and the challenge here is wild prairie grass, which is one of the new challenges that comes with the pack, so I'm excited to play with that. The lot itself is quite large. It's probably going to be quite good for us if we're going to be having horses and also nectar making, as if you've seen my previous video introducing the Trotters, Nigel wants to be an expert nectar maker and his daughter Cindy wants to be the championship rider. So I've never really built a ranch before, so I was trying to start off with something quite simple, and I thought maybe a wraparound porch could be quite nice. It's something that I've seen on a lot of American style builds. So I was just laying that out there, and maybe up at the back is where we could have the stables, maybe out of the way of the front of the house. I wanted the ranch house to be the star of the show in front of those gates, center stage. So just trying to do a layout here, make it quite symmetrical, because I think that would be able to keep it nice and simple, and I'll also be able to work out a fairly decent floor plan for Nigel and Cindy. So just doing the roofs there, wanted to do some a mixture of roofs, having the nice kind of gable style as a feature, and then on the separate wings just having the kind of closed off roof style. I was unsure whether to do a what do you call it, a raised level build, but I decided to go with it just to play about with, like having steps and also to make a bit more of a presence for the ranch. But I loved these columns, really framing the front of the house. I think it makes such an impression, and I decided to go with kind of dark wood with the new pack items, because I think this will make it nice and rich, nice and substantial. I didn't want, like an airy-fairy ranch build. I wanted something that was, had been there for maybe a while, and they kind of renovated it inside, but maybe the outside is still quite rustic and aged. I also decided to put the stairs quite central in the middle, just to kind of keep it simple and have it something to work around. Usually when I put stairs in a build, I actually really struggle, because I'll end up putting them somewhere and then I'll go to build the second level and go, oh, that doesn't actually work very well. So then I always have to end up moving them, and it all becomes a big palaver. So putting them center stage and working around them is probably the best idea. I'm kind of going for the wraparound porch thing at the back instead of at the front. Might work a bit nicer. Maybe it would act more of like a chill out zone, and maybe you could sit and relax at the back instead of the front. And also at the back is where we're going to have the stables, we're going to have the pastures, it's where all the animals and the nectar making is going to go on, so maybe having more of a lounging chill out spot back there makes more sense. I love the new wall swatches for this horse ranch pack, really rustic, really natural, authentic, gives it such a nice bit of character. I decided to go with the larger log wood siding, as I thought this gave it more of a vintage feel, or like it's a bit older, as opposed to the more kind of modern looking sliding. Again, trying to match the wood swatches to base game wood swatches is always a challenge, but we love a challenge. I decided to kind of use the steps from the Seasons pack because it had a bit of that stone texture, as we can see within the horse ranch columns, and I thought that might be quite a nice complement, and I decided to use these quite a lot round the back, just to make it really nice and open. People can come and go. It's not an enclosed porch, it's a nice and open place to chill. Moving on to internal floor plan, it was a bit of a struggle. I do change it up quite a bit, but that's just some of the fun of figuring out where the rooms are going to go, how the build is going to function, what makes more sense or what works better. I definitely wanted to have at least a toilet room downstairs, because when nature calls and you're out in the ranch, you're not wanting to climb the stairs to go all the way up and use the toilet. You're wanting something that's easily accessible. So definitely a toilet downstairs, kitchen, maybe a formal living room and a more relaxed living area, and a dining space. I thought those were the main priorities for downstairs. And using these like columns, and I'm not sure what you call, the post above the columns instead of an archway. It's more like a structural beam. I thought that would make such a nice feature and really add to the rustic, historical, vintage build that I wanted to go for. Maybe inside they've painted it white over the years to try and do it up and modernise, but they're still there, they're structural, so they can't move. I thought that'd be quite a fun feature to play around with. Quickly trying to figure out some sort of floor plan upstairs. I thought it would be really nice to do some sort of like gallery walkway, just because downstairs the floor plan's really nice and open. I think it would work quite well, and it would play into that kind of cabiny rustic vibe. Having something that's maybe got that 2-story height would create a really nice impression. So I thought 2 bedrooms is a must, obviously, for Nigel and Cindy, 1 family bathroom and a little ensuite, I'm thinking, for Cindy, just as a girl, and trying to do like a nice wood swatch downstairs. Wanted to go with a really light kind of neutral. Maybe this had been a new floor that was laid over the years, so it's maybe a bit lighter in tone, but still kind of is in between the white wood that we've got and the dark wood that we've got also. Just using some base game doors. I really like these 2 tile doors. I decided to keep them with the dark wood again to just create like a unison, create that cohesion. Everything matches, everything complements each other. And it also goes with kind of like the front door swatch as well. Got to have that doormat and a little coat rail. And I love this new little console table from the Horse Ranch pack. I decided to go with the swatch here. There's a lot of nice swatches. Just something under this window to kind of frame the hallway space, using one of the new flowers. I do try and use a lot of the new stuff that comes with the pack for this build, just because it obviously makes sense. But also because sometimes when packs do come out, I don't end up exploring them as much as I should. So I was really pushing myself here to almost solely use horse ranch items. Yeah, I thought it would make sense in the formal living room to have some sort of fireplace. I mean, a lot of old buildings would have had a fireplace, so trying to keep that feature I thought was quite important. Ended up moving the windows just to make room for it, which I don't think is a big issue. And using these new sofas, I love these sofas. I love the cowhide swatch. Really horse ranch style, I love that. Fitting another little console table just here with some of the new lamps. I love doing this in my build, the double lamp on a console table. I think it's really sweet. And using some of the cats and dogs items like that console table, but matching it with the horse ranch items, I think these will really complement each other. The same as the cottage living pack, I think these will all kind of complement and work really well together in gameplay as well. Because it'll be interesting to see how farm animals like the cows and the chickens and llamas will work with also having horses, and then also cats and dogs, like having, you know, dogs and cats as well. There's a lot more animals to play about with, which I think will be quite fun. Really add a lot more kind of realistic gameplay to the game. I love this little new basin for the bathrooms that come with the pack. Really typical, I think, for Horse Ranch, which is great. But yeah, that's my little toilet in there. I got one. Then I was thinking maybe this back here could be a casual sitting room, and then that in the corner could be a little wraparound kitchen, and then having a dining space just off to the right hand side. I decided to go with the blue swatch on the new counters just because I realised I'd done a lot of beige and kind of some reds, and I wanted to, you know, use a mixture of the new content. So I decided to go for a blue kitchen, which I think goes really well with the white sliding, and using the kind of bronze steel fridge, and we really need to go for that basic base game cooker with the logs underneath. I think that suits it so well. Having a nice little island I thought would be quite a nice way to define the kitchen space and not make it, you know, too open. And also leading on to the dining room, I think would make sense, and it would feel almost like a continuation. Love this little decor item with the pots and pans, wall-mounted pots and pans. I needed to have that in above the cooker. And now some more mist decor in the corner. And a little rug. So moving on to the dining space, I wanted to use the new rug from the Horse Ranch pack, so I was trying to use different swatches of it. I do that throughout the build, and there's some really nice swatches. And yeah, I decided to pick up on the blue tones from the kitchen and carry that into the dining area because I think that just makes sense. And I love these dining chairs as well. I think I do actually change the wood tones in this room eventually, but I love these dining chairs. I've never been so excited about dining chairs in The Sims ever. So much character, I love it. I realised this little clock from Cottage Living. Oh my god, I needed to have that in there as well. Using some of the new artwork as well is quite cute. There's some horse swatches, there's some landscape swatches. And for curtains, I really stuck to base game curtains. I think these kind of are the ones that would go best in a Horse Ranch build personally. No need to overcomplicate it, just using basic curtains and letting the other kind of items on the build shine. So yeah, I do change the wood tones in here to a darker wood tone, which I think is nice. I prefer it personally. A little bookcase, this one's from the University pack, I believe. I was confused about what to maybe do in those two corners. Eventually we do find uses for it, but I decided to leave them and focus on the more casual living area. I thought this would be like the TV room, where, you know, that's where you'd, you know, mostly hang out with the family. The formal living room would maybe be if you've got guests up, but this is where the family would chill, watch movies, hang out with friends. So again, using another wood carpet swatch from the new rug from the Horse Ranch pack, trying to create a nice, you know, unity throughout the whole build. But I also really love a rug as it defines the space, and I feel like a lot of rooms without the rugs just feel really bare and sad. I was struggling with what plant to put in there. I just decided for the base game fern, kind of palm fern plant. Nothing too complicated. And the cats and dogs lamp that goes with this rug, oh my god, how perfect is that? See, I'm really taking shape, kind of putting it a little bit on the side. Oh, using that little radio from the pack as well. Love that. I think that would be so fun to play with. And then yeah, I decided, oh my god, this is the perfect place to put one of the new pianos. Instead of the grand piano, we've got like a slim, tall piano, which used to have in the older games, but we don't in The Sims 4, so this is one of the best features, I think, of the pack. Moving the clock over to the casual living area, I think, worked a little bit better. Just like a wee feature chair, maybe it's been in the family, maybe it's, I don't know, picked up from a charity shop. And then I realised I hadn't actually done the tiles outside because I wanted to use these rocking chairs on the front porch. So I thought, how American is that? I think the front porch was maybe just a bit too narrow, so I ended up just putting them either side instead of together. But moving upstairs to the bedrooms, wanted to use the two new beds with the pack, so I separated them, one for Nigel, one for Cindy. This is Nigel's room here, and I thought about sticking with maybe like the red tones, the earthy tones for him. I love the bedspreads on Nigel's bed. I think that's so sweet, so cozy as well. You can really imagine this, you know, in a ranch house. Maybe this blanket had been, you know, quilted for him, knitted for him, and he's had it for a while. Just adding a few wee features like the mirror, maybe some artwork as well. I thought the walls were a little bit bare. It's going to this base game. Is it base game? I can't remember. Little canvas collage. Moving on to Cindy's room. I wanted to use some of the blue tones, blue swatches on the new bed, trying to match that up with a nice rug, but I ended up going with that kind of green vibe in here, a bit more natural. Actually, I might have gone back to blue. I think I was a bit indecisive with Cindy's room, to be honest. There's just too many nice swatches. I had to go through them all and then decide in the end what ones I wanted to go with. But definitely needed some horse decor in here because she wants to be the championship rider. So we really needed to hone that down. And then just working on a little ensuite. I think as a teenager, especially a teenage girl, having an ensuite bathroom is probably very, very handy. Just keeping it really basic, kind of using some of the rustic swatches on the decor items, and really basic curtains again. I do love that wardrobe with the mirror from the new pack. I know I'm going to use that a lot. And I thought in this little corner at the gallery could just be a little casual seating area, maybe like a book nook. You can kind of go and relax and get away from the hustle and bustle of the ranch. Maybe it's a nice place to have your morning coffee, I don't know. But I really end up liking this gallery space, and I thought what a better place to use this new chandelier from the Horse Ranch pack. I think it's absolutely fabulous. I cannot wait to use it more. And another little console table moment. I really wanted to use like a mirror in this hallway. And I do like this one here from, I believe it's the Outdoor Retreat, but it's so high up I needed to get a bookcase in so it didn't look so oddly high on the wall. And just some cute little artworks that they've collected throughout the years. And the family bathroom, I did want to use the barrel tub, but then I thought, is that too rustic? Is that too much? So I ended up just going with a kind of standard base game one, but I have been reusing this rustic basin throughout because I think it's got like a happy medium. It's not too out there. I think that barrel bathtub would be good if you were building like an outdoor bathroom. That could be quite fun. Who knows, maybe in the future. So yeah, now I'm trying to move on to the stable itself. I kind of neglected that a little bit. So bringing that to life, just using the same wall tile, same wood sliding, and I really wanted to use those windows from the pack that have the open shutters. I think they're perfect for the stable. And I did use this door, but I realised they cannot get in, horses cannot get in through this door. This door is for humans, for Sims only. So I do go back and change that after the build's done, before we play, don't you worry. But yeah, I was getting confused about how the stable, like interior stable, was going to work. Like, how are these horses going to get in? Like, why are there walls here? Is there not meant to just be like a fence? So I was looking for fences to use inside. Ended up finding the paddock fencing, which I just planned out there. But then I did find the stable fencing, which I think looks way better. Using the rustic lights, I thought maybe a space for 2 horses, you know, maybe one for Cindy, one for Nigel. That makes sense. Nothing too crazy yet. You can always extend the stables, who knows. And then just putting in the provisions for the horses, like the water troughs, the hay bale, food troughs, little rustic log benches outside. And then I forgot, Nigel is the master nectar maker, so I was trying to find all those wee nectar items to put around the porch. And obviously getting distracted by Decker, because how could you not? I decided to go with this new wall swatch for the stables. I think it looks really good. Kind of realistic, that's what I'd imagine in a stable. And this is when I decided to build 2 paddocks. One maybe for like a riding arena where Cindy can practice the different jumps and riding with her horse, and then this little paddock back here just to have them out grazing, maybe with the goats, the sheep. And I do believe this hail is purely decorative, but why not? Why not? It makes sense, doesn't it? Adding a little bit of clutter, just trying to give the stables a bit more character, like the little kind of horse saddle holders, wooden crates. I do eventually put like a bucket and spades and forks and everything in the corner. But just to give it that kind of used, lived in vibe. I think one of the things I'm most excited about is literally just riding the horses through the town. I think that would be so cool. Can you imagine? Just all these Sims coming, like rolling up, meeting up on horseback. It's going to be so chaotic. I cannot wait. And I'm also interested to see what the horses are actually like in gameplay, because I know there's a few traits, you know, they can be quite independent, they can be aggressive. I think there'll be a lot of fun to come. I was very tempted to put that horse box wagon thing out there, but then I did find the wee gnome wagon and I did put that in the front of the build. Just adding the gates in and figuring out where these nectar making things are going to go. So I thought just round the corner here, it doesn't matter having the barrels in front of the window because eventually, you know, the curtains are going to be closed. And it's a ranch. It's not meant to be, you know, pristine and nice and everything in its place. It's meant to be like a working ranch. So I was just adding some nice terrain paint here. Kind of thinking where, you know, the paths are going to be, where the horses will probably trod on the most, and dirtying that up a little bit. Putting a bit more of the new swatches in, like the long grass, the prairie grass, just to give that kind of wild, rustic, untamed theme. And then complementing it with a bit more of the shorter, just to soften it all up a little bit so it doesn't look too crazy. But definitely in the riding paddock, it's definitely going to be dusty and dirt tracks in there. Just doing a bit more landscaping. I decided to just use the wildflowers and the trees and all the nature that was already kind of around the lot, just to make it kind of a bit seamless and not jut out of place. So it just makes sense to have the same kind of wildflowers around the ranch as is around the lot itself. So just kind of putting them around, pretending that they just have grown up wild, you know, naturally. Great for wildlife, by the way. Great for the bees. And then trying to frame the kind of pathway terrain paint a little bit, just to make it a little bit more defined. I think doing little bits like this in your build really help to flesh it out a bit and make it a bit more substantial. It's also what makes it look more finished and a bit more realistic as well, I think. Adding in some more kind of rockery. This is a new rock formation that comes with the pack actually, which I thought was quite fun. So definitely keeping a few of them in there, and then just going around with like base game ones to flesh it out and make it feel a bit more finished and natural. I do also have the bush around the back of the stables, which is an outdoor toilet. So I'm really excited to see who gets to use that in the gameplay. And some of the new mesquite trees, just making it a little bit more finished and a little bit more natural, wild looking. Adding in some of the long grass as well, just from base game, I think has helped to create that definition of this is just like wild growth around the ranch. And I don't know about you, but I'm a little bit nervous to play with the horses. I think I'm just more nervous of losing a horse, because I heard that foals you've got to actually make them eat. They don't autonomously eat, and if you don't make them eat, they will get taken away for abuse. So a bit nervous about that. But yeah, this is the build, guys. I'm really excited to play in this. I hope you are too. Please stay tuned, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye everyone.
I like to be educated, but I'm so frustrated. Hello to my loneliness. I guess that ignorance is